Excellency Yasir Al-Remayan.
Thank you.
I think today is it's a historical day for the PGA Tour and the game of golf, and it's a historical day for the PIF and the DP World Tour. And you're right, you know, there's been a lot of tension in our sport over the last couple of years. But what we're talking about today is coming together to unify the game of golf and to do so under one umbrella. And David, the way that we're doing that is we're creating a for-profit LLC that the PIF is going to invest in alongside the DP World Tour. And together we're going to move forward and we're going to take efforts to grow and expand this great game and to take it to new heights. And so what's happened today, and to your earlier question, is we've recognized that together we can have a far greater impact on this game than we can working apart. And I give Yasser great credit for coming to the table, coming to the discussions.
التقينا في لندن، وأنت تعلم أننا بدأنا في اليوم التالي جولة الجولف. أجرينا مناقشات، غطينا كل شيء، وأحد الأشياء التي قلتها حينها عندما التقينا قبل عامين أو 3 أعوام: أثرنا سيكون أقل في لعبة الجولف لأنه سيكون شيئا صغيرا، ولكن الطريقة التي نؤدي بها شراكتنا ستكون كبيرة حقا من نواحي كثيرة. سيكون لدينا جولة LIV و PGA بالإضافة إلى كل ما لدينا من الأصول، وسنستثمر في نمو لعبة الجولف ونقوم بالعديد من الأشياء الجديدة التي أعتقد أنها ستحظى بمشاركة أفضل من قبل اللاعبين والمشجعين والمذيعين والجهات الراعية لأي شخص آخر. ونأمل حتى توفير وصول أفضل للمزيد والمزيد من الناس إلى لعبة الجولف، في جعل لعبة الجولف سهلة الوصول إليها تماما مثل أي رياضة أخرى، كرة القدم، كرة السلة، وهذا ما ليس لدينا الآن.
The fans, the broadcasters, the sponsors.
أعلن صندوق الاستثمارات العامة السعودي ورابطة لاعبي الجولف المحترفين وجولة في موانئ دبي العالمية اليوم عن توقيع اتفاقية تاريخية تهدف لتوحيد رياضة الجولف عالميا، كما علق معالي الأستاذ ياسر رميان محافظ الصندوق الاستثمارات العامة على هذه الاتفاقية. وسيضمن ذلك استفادة كافة الأطراف المعنية من نموذج عمل يحقق أقصى درجات المتعة والتنافسية بين أفضل لاعبي الجولف في العالم، ويسهم في الترويج للعبة وتعزيز انتشارها حول العالم. طبعا كلمة الأستاذ معالي الأستاذ ياسر رميان بهذه المناسبة: سعداء اليوم بهذا الإعلان التاريخي لرياضة الجولف ولجميع المهتمين بها من جميع أنحاء العالم. تعكس هذه الاتفاقية حرصنا على توحيد الجميع حول هذه الرياضة والترويج لها وتعزيز انتشارها حول العالم، سعيا منا لتقديم أفضل المستويات للملايين من محبي رياضة الجولف وجذب المزيد من الجماهير لمتابعة هذه الرياضة. PIF, PGA Tour and DP World Tour today announced a landmark agreement to unify the game of golf globally. His Excellency Yasser Ramayan, Governor of PIF, commenting on the announcement. This will ensure that all the stakeholders benefit from a model that delivers maximum excitement and competition among the game best players while promoting and growing the game worldwide. His Excellency's statement, Mr. Yasser Ramayan: today is a very exciting day for this special game and the people touch around the world. We are committed to unifying, promoting and growing the game of golf around the world and offering the highest quality product to the many millions of long-time fans globally while cultivating new fans. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم في هذه الحلقة الخاصة. طبعا برنامج نيوكاسل مع وليد، لكن احنا معنيين بكل ما يخص الرياضة السعودية وانتشارها عالميا طبعا هذه حلقة خاصة بمناسبة ما جرى بالأمس، الانتصار الكبير لصندوق الاستثمارات العامة في قضية طبعا الجولف. معنا اليوم لاعب الجولف المعروف جون وود، راح يكون معنا وراح يجاوبنا عن جميع الأسئلة اللي تتكلم أو تخص هذا الجانب، يعطينا معلومات كثيرة عن الجولف، عن صندوق الاستثمارات واهتمامه بهذه اللعبة، وخصوصا قضية الدمج اللي صارت والانتصار الكبير لصندوق الاستثمارات العامة. Welcome lads and lasses to Newcastle with الوليد show for a special show for golf. We are happy that BIF have a great victory in the golf case. Now we have really we're gonna have a golf structure under His Excellency leading this brilliant, lovely game. Welcome, John.
Welcome, Walid. How are you doing, my friend? You good?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm very well, mate. Long time no see.
Yeah, really. Now you're back to UK?
I'm back in the UK now, mate. Yeah. Just left Saudi Arabia after 4 years, but 4 wonderful years, as you know. Many good friends left. Missed the golf, though. Missed the golf.
Yes, we have here many pictures for you playing golf in Saudi Arabia.
That was Riyadh Greens. I just got a hole in one. I did. So
brilliant, that's why you are kissing the ball.
That's why I'm kissing the ball, because that's my first hole in one in 30 years, and that was done in Saudi, Riyadh Greens. So yeah, very special, very special.
This is brilliant, and we wish if we have a video for that shot.
So do I, mate. I've just got it in my mind.
Because you didn't know that you will do it, maybe.
No. I was playing with a great friend of mine, Steve Parkhouse, who's still in Saudi Arabia, and yeah, great joy for the both of us. He was happy, just as happy as I was.
طبعا جون وود بطل من ابطال نيوكاسل وبريطانيا، طبعا في كأس معروفة في منطقة نورثبلاند في شمال شرق نيوكاسل، بطولة اسمها فورستر كاب. طبعا هذه البطولة صار لها أكثر من 100 سنة وحققها تقريبا من عامين. How many years since you win this cup?
I won it last year, so I'm defending it this year. Yeah. So I'm defending it in August. So yeah, and that's 100-year-old, that cup. 100 years. So really, very proud day.
Yeah, we are really proud of you, John. John, would like to, and of course we welcome you. We would like to know what you like to share about yourself to the Saudi fans.
The Saudi fans are just wonderful. They're just the second to none. The hospitality and the graciousness that they showed me and my family when I lived in Saudi Arabia was nothing but class. They were great. It's a great country. I wish more people would go there to experience it, to go on holidays there. There's so much to do, as you know, Walid. You know, the culture, the shopping centres, and obviously the golf, mate. The golf courses are second to none. So yeah, great times, wonderful people, as you well know, good friends like yourself. Miss you dearly, but yeah, we're hoping to come back one day to visit. We are. Saudi Arabia's got a big place in my heart. It has.
So you are also John. We really, I know I met you once, but it was a really lovely evening.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I remember that well, mate. Sat having a coffee with you. Great times. That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic times, Welly. But no, I should have taught you golf before I left. I should have took you to the golf course. We were going to do it.
When you come back, or I will go to Newcastle, we will.
As soon as you come to Newcastle, I'll take you on the course, mate, and we'll go back a champion together.
Yes, and I remember you playing with Alan Shearer's father, if I'm not mistaken.
That was years ago, yes. Craig Bellamy, I played with him. He used to play for Newcastle. Lovely man, many years ago at Burgin Park. So, yeah, great player. At the time, Craig wasn't very good, but I believe and understand he's a lot better than me now. He is. So yeah, there's some great golfers in the Northeast. There is, some very, very good golfers come from the Northeast. I know Lee Westwood, who's on the LIV Tour, is I don't know him personally, but I know he lives in the region of Newcastle, and he plays out of Close House, so he's affiliated with that. So one of the LIV players lives up here in Newcastle now. So yeah, we've got a good bunch in Newcastle for golfers. It's a great area for golf. Lots of golf courses, lots.
May this sound weird. Playing golf here in Saudi, it's hot, but in Newcastle, I bet it's very cold.
It has its cold days and it has its hot days, but not as hot as Saudi, as you know, mate. The days of yeah. So I'm just getting used to the cold again, as you can imagine, mate. So
John,
honestly, mate, different games.
Let's get inside. Let's get to the main meal of the question. I have a strong question here. I hope. Yeah, I will try to explain it, because this is how us in Saudi we understand this golf. Because you know that I am focused on Newcastle, but
Yes.
since there is a lot of something in common between Newcastle and the golf, because Mr. Yasser Ramayan and previously Mr. Majid Al Sarur, they are involved in Newcastle and the golf. So
correct.
About the case, if winning the case, and they are merging the PGA Tour. So okay, now unifying the game of golf globally. So we want to know
Correct.
what happened behind the scene, because the summary of the story, as we understand it, that LIV, the golf company of golf tour of Saudi Arabia, PIF, they offer to participate with PGA Tour before many times, but PGA refuses.
Yeah.
So LIV start their own league, and they signed the big players to join LIV, and some of these players left by their will, left PGA for LIV. So PGA become affected. So after a while, they file a case, or weird case, ending with and now they have a case at United States, and I don't know what they are complaining of, because everything was legal, and end up and sorry, just the question, the younger question, sorry, and now they are the court decide, or this is just a settlement to merge all these leagues together. What really happened, John?
So this is just my opinion. I like to put that on record. You know what I mean? It's just my own interpretation of what's happened. First of all, I think the PGA and His Excellency have done the best thing for golf. It's got to be said. I think they put the differences aside and done what's best for golf, and that's commendable on both sides. That takes leadership. That's strong leadership, and that's what it needed. So they've set the differences, and they've they've merged as one. And I personally, there you are, His Excellency. He's a he's a very good businessman. He knows what's right. So there's what I say there. So yeah, I think going forward, it benefits everybody. It benefits new up-and-coming players. It benefits the old players, and it benefits the PGA. They've got they'll have a big investment of capital, which they'll be able to grow the businesses, which is great for the game. I'm hoping that some of that money comes down to the grassroots. We get more juniors involved. It's cheaper. It's more accessible. So I think, living in Saudi Arabia, I know there's a big drive on children playing golf. It's you know, and I know it's massive. It will be massive, and that's what I want to see. The big players coming to Saudi Arabia, having a few tours in Saudi Arabia, so it generates the will of young kids to play golf, because it's a wonderful sport, just like football. And I personally think as well that with His Excellency as chairman of the PGA, because it will still stay as PGA, with the DP Tour and all the others, it only benefits everybody. I still think there's a lot of work to be done behind the scenes, i.e. with certain golfers, established stars who never defected to the LIV Tour. I think there needs to be some kind of mediation, arbitration, or whatever you want to call it, but to bring them on board. And I think we know what players we're talking about there. Got to be careful what we say. I also think as well, now, like LIV have come out with this great format of team golf. It's fantastic. It's fun. It's exciting to watch. There you go. Absolutely exciting to watch. It's a new dimension of golf. Fantastic. And that can only benefit the game as well. It's a new idea. That's at Jeddah. I was there then. That was Jeddah. So yeah, so it's great. But again, the focus is on now putting the different sides apart and going as one. And I think that'll happen. His Excellency is very, very shrewd, like he's at Newcastle. What he's done there, he's a leader, and he'll lead golf like he's led Newcastle to success this year. So I'm excited for the future of golf. It secured the future of golf as well. It has, so it's great. But I'd just like to see now the two warring factions, LIV and the PGA, gone. I'd just like to see it as one. Whatever that is, whatever title, personally, I believe it'll still be called the PGA, but it'll have a massive influence by His Excellency, because that's what it needs. It needs revamping, and it needs full vision, and I think His Excellency has that in abundance.
John, so when I explain our understanding, it was right?
Yes, yeah. It was, again, knowing, because I've lived in Saudi Arabia, and I don't think a lot of people realise how much Saudi Arabia is into sport, how open Saudi Arabia is. I keep saying it, it's a wonderful country. It's great to live, and the people are fantastic. So if you look, everybody's on about the PGA Tour and everything else, golf. People are forgetting how much money Saudi has invested in the women's game of golf, the Aramco series. Without that wouldn't be a success. So, you know, for a few years, you look at the Formula One, you know, they've invested in the Formula One. You know, Saudi Arabia loves sport, and they want to be a part of it. And that's fantastic. That can only benefit all these sports with an injection of money. You look at the World Championship boxing matches that was in Riyadh, in Jeddah, which we both went to, I believe. I was there, and I think you were there as well. Great nights. You know, it's great. And it's nice to see it's coming to Saudi Arabia. The tours, the excitement of these big players. And it, like I say, it can only be good for the game. I know there's the old traditionalists want to keep it as PGA and all the rest of it. But if you really know golf, the PGA have been taking the best players from other tours for years, 30 years. So the DP tour, the DP tour used to be the European tour. So where your Rory McIlroys back in the day, your Nick Faldos and all that lot. Because the money was in America, They went on to got the PGA Tour card and went on there because that's where the money is. This is all what Saudi's done with LIV. It's just another tour with money where people, at the end of the day, a golfer is just like a contractor. He needs to earn, and that's all they're doing. They've just gone to where it's like footballers when they transfer to another club. That's all these golfers have done. They've transferred from the PGA Tour to the LIV Tour. That's all they've done. There's nothing wrong about it in my eyes. It's just another tour or another football club. It's a transfer. That's the simplest way you can put it. But it's nice now that it's merged as one, or it's going to be. I know they're looking at assets and frameworks and all that lot, due diligence, and that's brilliant. And that just shows how clever they both are, the PGA and LIV, that they're prepared to work as one and put the differences aside. So, yeah, great. Absolutely brilliant.
John, the video we play at the beginning, it was the PGA Tour guy. And
Jay Monahan.
he looked like, I don't know what's part of my English, but a phony. Should I say phony? He said that, okay, we like, this was the goal from beginning, but they refused that.
Yeah, it's like anything. It's the unknown. People are scared of the unknown. You know, without sitting down with people, and I can say it myself, when I first came out to Saudi Arabia, you know, it's the unknown. I was frightened. You know what I mean? But when you get there and then you meet Saudi people and you see the generousness of them and the kindness and the loving of them, that's what's happened when, you know, Jay Monahan's met His Excellency, seeing the genuinity of the man, and you know what a foresight he has, and you know the love of the game, the passion that His Excellency has for golf, and he only wants to do the best for golf and for Saudi Arabia. So that's, you know, I'm in awe of him. He's a great man.
What was the case? Why they are doing the case against?
I don't know about the case.
You said, John, that already PGA Tour taking the players before from other tours.
Yeah.
So what's the case? That they are blaming LIV Saudi that they take players as well.
I don't think there was a case. I just think that everything happened fast. And because of, you know, communications and what have you, and like I say, like we was just saying before, I just think that you've got to understand the Saudi culture. The Saudi culture is, if they want something, they'll do it. You know, they want to be a part of the rest of the world, and that's great. That's fantastic. You look at the football players that are coming into Saudi Arabia Football League now, your Benzemans and all this lot. So it's all about understanding the Saudi culture. Some people might be deterred about it, but if you know it, you know that's how it is. Some people think it's brazen, but it's not. It's just the way it is. It's just cultures, and it's learning to understand that culture. And I think it's great. You know me. And again, going back to His Excellency, he's passionate about golf. Monsieur, he's passionate about golf as well. So why wouldn't they want to invest in a great sport that they love? And that they can help regenerate and, you know, take it forward, be a part of it.
Wasn't easy, and it should be easier if PGA Tour, instead of doing the case, they just said, "Okay, LIV, let's do something together."
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do believe if the dialogue between the two parties happened sooner and was more open and, you know, and understanding, I don't think LIV would have ever have happened. And that's this is only my opinion. So, yeah, I do think that. But because of, we go back to that unknown, you know, and frightening and whatever, LIV came about because Saudi Arabia wanted to invest in golf. So they said, right, we'll go on I think it was the Malaysian tour. We'll merge with the Malaysian tour, or no, the Asia tour. I think it was the Asia tour, and say, well, and then we can bring the players, and then we can, do our own thing. And I think the PGA have realised that LIV is here to stay. Yeah, what a great banner. LIV is here to stay. So it's great. I just like to see it now move forward, because, as you know, I'm passionate about golf and what have you. I'd like to see it move forward with a framework that works for all, that everybody's included. And when I say everybody, I'm talking from grassroots to your average golfers to your tour players that make the field. They're not in the top 1%, that, they get a benefit of it, a better cut of the prize money. And I'd like to see more golf around the world, because if you look at it, the PGA Tour's only in America. It is. So I'd like to see it spread a little bit more. So again, you got your DP Tour, which goes to Jeddah. It goes to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So I think that's where that'll come into it. The PGA will stay in America, but the other bit, the DP Tour, will hit the Middle East more. That'll be my take on it.
John, for us, we thought there is LIV and PGA Tour, but when I read the statement, there is a DP World Tour as well. What is that exactly coming from?
So the DP World Tour used to be the European Tour. That's what it used to be, the European Tour. And that was a feeder to the PGA Tour. The best players used to go there. So, how can I put it? It's like you've got your Premier League, which is your PGA Tour, and then you've got your Championship, which is your DP Tour. So that's the way I'd put it in layman terms for Saudi Arabia. So again, your DP Tour, where you attract your good players, but I think it'll be more aimed at the Middle East, more accessible to Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So they'll have more events there. I think they have one in Abu Dhabi, the Emirates. They have one in Jeddah, and they have one in Dubai. So I'd like to see more of them. And I'd like to see the top players coming now to Jeddah. I'd like to see it held at Riyadh Greens, because it's, me, I'm a big fan of that place. So yeah, I'd like to see some good tours there from what's going to come out of it. And I think it'll be well supported as well by the Saudi people, as we both know. They're very passionate about sport.
What do you think it's going to be the name after the merge?
Honestly,
still LIV?
No. Again, my only personal opinion, I think His Excellency he knows that the PGA is a brand. It's been a brand for a long time. And I think there's got to be give and take on both sides. And I think His Excellency will understand that and stay with the PGA brand, but invest in it so it's stronger and it can move forward. Because and I know, Saudi Arabia are forgiving and loving people. They don't mind what name it's called or whatever, as long as it's accessible as well to the Saudi people.
Could still be LIV, or it should be changed after the match?
Again, my opinion is, and I will be honest, my opinion is it should stay PGA, but the LIV brand can go into the DP Tour. Because, like I say, The PGA Tour is American. It's more American based, where the DP Tour goes to the Middle East. So I think that's where the LIV will come in. It's still a part of the PGA brand, but it's a brand. So that's where the LIV will come into there. I think it'll merge more with the DP Tour. And the PGA Tour will stay in its own identity in America. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I can understand that. What you can tell us about Mr. Yasser Rumayyan and Mr. Majid Al Sarur?
Again, what inspirational to the Saudi people, the business, the foresight. I've had the pleasure of watching him play golf at Riyadh Greens on a few occasions. Very passionate, very polite. They're amazing people, absolutely amazing. And again, their vision and their belief in getting LIV where it is today is down to them two individuals. So nothing but praise, absolute praise. And that just proves hard work and dedication and passion, you can achieve things.
John, I read the statement earlier from Mr. Majid Al Sarur at the end of the season. He was talking about Newcastle, and also he was happy. And I'm not. I like the golf, but I'm still not into a lot of information. He was talking about Mr. Majid talking about Bobka, I believe, and he was happy about Bobka performance this year. Bobka, yeah.
It's like to say.
I think it's Bobka, yeah.
Bobka for Newcastle.
A player. No. A golf player.
Oh, Kupka.
Sorry,
Sorry, Brooks Kupka. Yeah. We're talking one of the best golfers in the world. That defected, handed the PGA Tour card, and supported LIV. And I know a lot of people will say, yeah, but they've got a lot of money. Yeah, but again, that's what we all go to work for. You tell me somebody who doesn't go to work. And the way I look at the two tours is like a football club. It's like Benzema leaving Real Madrid and coming to a Saudi Arabia club. They're just transferred. It shouldn't be all this hostility and nastiness. They've transferred because, at the end of the day, that's what we all go to work for, is money, and happy. So, yeah, Bruce Kupka, what a player. Brooks Kupka, what a player. So, if you think about it, he came runner-up in a major, and then he won the major. So, again, you've got a LIV player winning a major. So that the PGA must have stood up and says, we're losing great players. You've lost Dustin Johnson to LIV. Phil Mickelson, yeah, you can say, again, he's past his sell-by date. But he won a major 5-6 years ago at the age of 50. So he's still got it. They're still great players. So, yeah, it's great to see, look at Cameron Smith, the Australian. He won the Open last year. Straight after that, he handed his tour card in and he came to LIV Tour. So it's there. I think, again, the players that have come over, I'm hoping that other golfers that never came over to the LIV Tour are compensated some way in the structure as part of harmonious and what have you. And I think there will be. I think there'll be something there for everybody, because I know that the Saudi people do the right thing. They treat everybody right, equally and fairly. So I think that will happen. I think all the other top players, you call them Okaras and all that lot, I think things will happen. And it'll be behind the scenes. We won't know about it, but everybody will come on board for whatever reason. So again, His Excellency, absolutely brilliant what he's done. He is fantastic. It's a great opportunity to take golf forward. And I know a lot of people who turn around the old guard golfers saying but things have to change. Things have to progress. Things have to look at new ways of generating things and experimenting. And this is a great opportunity. So it's a win for everybody, LIV Golf and for the PGA, DP and the rest of the tours. So yeah, fantastic.
What's going to be first league now, you think?
Sorry,
is there going to be, I mean, next tournament, it's going to be changed after this merge?
No.
Or it's going to continue the schedule of the league?
Again, you've got to put your like I say, your structure in place. Look at your assets, put in your terms and your conditions and everything else. Your structure, how it's going to be run, who's going to be doing what, where the tours are going to be. So, like I say, there's something that's got to give on both sides, and I've got my feeling what it'll be. I think LIV won't be as prominent as it is now, but it'll be still there, but it won't be as prominent because something's got to give, and that's it. And I think that's what it'll be. But I also think that His Excellency as chairman will be able to bring it forward in a vision like LIV was going. So it'll be still under the PGA banner, like I've said, but LIV will be more DP tour, and His Excellency will be able to still model what he was doing on the LIV tour with the PGA. So it's that balance, and His Excellency certainly knows how to balance it. He's a great man, great man, well respected, great businessman, and again passionate about his golf. And you've got to look at it like that. The only winner will be golf. That will be the winner, and that's what people are forgetting. Nobody owns golf. You know what I mean? We all own golf. We all play golf. Us golfers own golf. We do. So there you go. So there'll be no losers. There won't. It'll be more accessible to the fans. I'd like to see it more accessible to grassroots, more investments in clubs to bring on juniors, which will generate more golfers, will generate more income, will generate great professionals in time to come. What's not good about it? And that's where it should be, at grass levels, bringing new golfers. I'd love to see a major winner from Saudi Arabia. I'd love to see that, and I would. I'd love to see the first Saudi major. Can't beat it. And I know there's some great golfers in Saudi Arabia, juniors, because I used to practice at Riyadh Greens.
Any specific names?
There was a young girl. Her dad was called Omar, and I forgot her name now, so please forgive me. She was amazing. Now, this girl, and your listeners might know her and what have you, this girl used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go with her dad. She still will now, because she's dedicated. I think she'll be 14 now. She goes at 6 in the morning. She has 2 hours practice, and then she'll do homeschooling, private schooling, and then I used to see her on a night time, and I meant to have a round of golf with her, but obviously I left Saudi at the time, and she practices 3 or 4 hours on a night time.
Wow.
She is exceptional. She is absolutely.
Hopefully she win a major later.
I will text the dad when I found here, and I'll ask for his name, and I'll say I've been on the podcast, and I'll send you her name. Honestly, amazing. She's worth talking to on one of your podcasts. She's got potential, this young lady, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'd love to see a major winner, male or female, from Saudi Arabia. How good would that be, my friend?
Of course, it's going to be amazing, and
it will happen.
Saudi have a major, inshallah.
Inshallah, it'll happen.
Brilliant, John. John, we don't worry. We'll talk about Newcastle. course.
I'm sure you
But,
will.
Yeah, but I want to take some of comments from the fans here in the chat. Amir Prince, it's me, the Prince. Neom is going to have a big field for golf.
Oh,
have you heard about that?
Neom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That's what I'd love to see, more golf courses in Saudi Arabia. That would be. You've got the climate, you've got the knowledge, you've got the passion. How good would that be? How good?
Here some question, but he want to ask you how to make the golf popular among Saudis, because it's still not that popular here. How you attract him to the golf?
By having open days, bringing juniors in, having more accessible golf courses and reasonably priced. As as I know, he was quite expensive out there. But again, it's getting grassroots. It's working and developing young children, and old like ourselves. Anyone could play golf because of the handicap system and what have you. So anybody can compete, but it's been more accessible to play the game. I think in Riyadh, you've got Riyadh Greens, you've got Deerab, and they're owned by Saudi Golf Federation. You've got Nofa, which is a lovely course, which is about an hour outside Riyadh, and you've got Arizona, which is a 9-hole golf course on the Arizona complex. So there's 4, and it's basically open it up to everybody to play, doing 6 weeks lessons, and then they'll get the bug. So I'd really love to see junior golf take off in Saudi Arabia. Nothing would make me happier. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I mean, what about Champions League? Maybe make you happier.
Nah, golf. Golf, mate. I'm too old. No, golf, Champions League will be great for Newcastle. But again, for the Saudi people, I don't think people realise how big this is for Saudi Arabia, this golf news. I really don't think, the investment that PIF are investing, I do believe it's in excess of 2 billion. That's amazing. That is, the PGA they couldn't have mustered that money up. So it's amazing. But I'd like to see, and I keep saying it because you know me, Waleed, I'm a big Saudi person. I've got Saudi in my heart now. I'd love to see golf put back into Saudi Arabia. The PGA have took the money from Saudi Arabia, so I'd like to see a little bit go back to grassroots in Saudi Arabia to bring that major winner, to bring that first professional, competing at the top. I'd love to see it. It's happened in Malaysia. If you look at the South Koreans and what have you, there's no reason why it can't happen in Saudi Arabia, mate.
Brilliant, John, and really appreciate you enlightening us about recent events, circumstances with the golf, and now we have more knowledge with this conversation. John, would like to shift now to Newcastle because the fans would love to talk about Newcastle and the Champions League. We are also improving and going forward this season, and how are you happy about this Newcastle performance this season, John?
My wife is more than me because she's a proper Geordie. I'm what you call a plastic one. So she's over the moon.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm adopted. So yeah, in the region, everybody's excited. And again, if you can compare the two sports. I know we spoke a lot about golf tonight, but you can compare the two sports with the Saudi Arabians. They know how to do it properly. Everybody thought when Saudi Arabia bought Newcastle, that they'd come in and chuck money at it, invest it. They never. They played by the fair play rules. They've done things properly. They've made the team accessible to the fans. They've involved the fans. So yeah, it's that next step next season in the Champions League, and it's about bringing in the right blend of players that fits Eddie Howe's philosophy, that fits His Excellency and the board of directors, their philosophy. I wouldn't like to see players coming in where they're breaking the bank and the wage structure, because I think that rocks the boat, and a lot of supporters would say that. I think they need the balance. You look at Joe Linton and how he's come on this season; he's been amazing. Pope in goal. They've invested, but they haven't gone over the top. So it's bringing in quality, world-class players, but still keeping your long staffs that are Geordies and your Bairns that are Geordies, keeping that nucleus of that, keeping that, So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Champions League this year. I don't know about you.
Of course, I am. But now everybody concerned is the transfer. And since you are talking about the Longstaff
window,
yeah, you mentioned Longstaff, brother. We heard the rumor that Matthew Longstaff may be leaving. Sean will stay, but I don't know. Did you hear something about?
Yeah, possibly. I would say that's more than likely. The two different players. Matty's, with all due respect, Newcastle's moved on, and you look at the caliber of player that he is. I would say for his development, that they'll let him go somewhere where he could develop and still play football. Do I think he's a Newcastle United player? No, not now. Not now. And that's not being disrespectful. He's a great player. But again, Newcastle's moved up that echelons. They've moved up. So, yeah, I can see Lascelles leaving as well. I know he's club captain, but again, you've got to look at what you're bringing in. You're in the Champions League now, a bit like Man City. You need a squad where you can compete on the home front as well as in the Champions League. So I think there will be a lot of departures. And again, knowing Saudi Arabia, how they operate, they'll do what's right for the player and the club. But they'll do what's right for the player as well.
Yes.
Because it's your culture. You look after the player, the club will look after itself. So
exactly.
That's one thing we both agree on there.
Any name you hear since you are now back in UK? Any name? Because most of the name now is Zumblai, the Hungarian player.
Yeah.
But and Madison. But they all talk about the high wages, weekly wages.
I can see Madison coming. I can see that being a perfect fit. Personally, I'd have liked to have seen Declan Rice come. That would have been exceptional, especially lifting the UEFA Cup last night. I think.
But John, the weekly wages is making things difficult, because Declan Rice, he will come if you offer him at least 200.
Yeah, but Newcastle's going to have to break the wage structure. That's the sad fact. They're going to have to attract big players. But what I'm saying is,
when they will realise that,
they already realise that. Believe you me, there's His Excellency and the board of chairmen and directors. They're a lot more educated than me, my friend. So they would have known that anyway. They don't need John Wood telling them. So no, it's a case of that balance. You've got to get the right mixture for the club and how Eddie Howe works, along with the right wage structure. And if you look at your Paris Saint-Germain's, it hasn't worked. You've got your Neymars on silly money, your Messis and all that lot. You're fantastic players, but they're a bit out there. Eddie Howe has a workforce that want to die for the club. that, want to put the badge first before the wage packet. And I think that will still be the case. And and I know Saudi Arabia put the flag and the country before anything. And that's what they've adopted at Newcastle. They've got the same mentality. So the race structure will have to go up, but it won't be blown out the water, if that makes sense. They know they're going to have to move it, but it'll be in proportion of what they're getting.
Brilliant. Brilliant, John. So any other names you would like to add to Declan Rice as well?
Yeah, I think, looking forward, who's available? Harry Kane. He's available. Tottenham are prepared to sell him. Everybody's saying, could he go to Real Madrid? Yeah, there's a great possibility. But again, does he want to break Alan Shearer's record in the Premier League? Could he win things with Newcastle now? Newcastle's got the financial backing because they're in the Champions League now. He wants to play Champions League football. Would you say you can say this about Real Madrid? Real Madrid are in the same position as Newcastle. They're at a rebuilding stage. But the difference is with Newcastle, they're the richest club in the world. So, again, we all know your Barcelonas and your Real Madrid have financial problems where Newcastle haven't. So, I can say, I'd love to, I still think there might be a possibility there. Never say never. Because if you think about it, you beat them 6-0 at St James's. And I do believe Harry Kane did come out and say the crowd was fantastic. And when you have 52,000 Geordies screaming at you and behind you.
I remember he said, this is the worst game of my life.
Yeah. And what does that say? If you flip it the other side, it means that, you know what I mean? You ain't got 11 players. You ain't got 12. You've got 13 players when you play at St James's, because that crowd makes up for 2 extra players. It's electrifying, as we both know. So, yeah, I'd like to see him. Again, I'd like to see a good left back come. I think they need a world-class left back. You've got a world-class right back in Trippier. So I think you need a good left back. So who's on the market there? There'll be a few. Maddison, we spoke about him. He's a creator. He's 2-footed. That, you know what I mean? Relegated this year with Leicester, so the price isn't going to be what it was in January. It'll be cheaper. So yeah, you look at the clubs that are selling, and I think there's a lot of players now would come to Newcastle because of the way the club is run. It's a family club, it's a supporters club, and it's only going places. Because if we said at the start of the season, you guys would be in 4th place, you'd have snapped everybody's hands off. You'd have said, let's finish it now. So it's remarkable how the PIF investment has worked, but not gone over the top. There's been that great balance there. And going forward, I think that's what will happen in the new season. I think there'll be about 7 or 8 new players coming in, but I think there'll be a bigger lot leaving.
John, after this season, what's your minimum expectation for
Honestly,
next season?
Next season for Newcastle, I'd like to think you'll get out of the Champions League qualifying groups into the knockout stages. I'd like to say that would be a success. I'd like to see him pushing for Europe, because you've got to remember as well, if you're in the Champions League, you're playing, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, and you're playing weekends as well. So you've got to have a big squad, but you've got to have a world-class squad. So realistically, could you do it in one season? I don't think so. You look at your Liverpools, your Man Cities and what have you. They have to build and build and build over a couple of seasons. So to qualify again would be good, or in a UEFA spot would be good. But you've also got to remember you've got your other cup runs as well, your FA Cups, your you know what I mean, your Caravan Cups and all that. So you've got all that as well to compete. So your squad needs to be bigger, but it needs to be more world class to compete on these levels. So you've got to think, like this season, what's more important, Champions League or the FA Cup? Your heart says the FA Cup because it's tradition, but financially it's the Champions League, which you've done. So is your squad good enough? No. Could it be good enough? Yes. But again, you've got to look at the fair play and everything else. And that's what Saudi will do, as you well know. Amanda Shaverley and all this lot will not drag the name of Newcastle United in the gutter by breaking any rules. They will do everything by the book. As you well know, that's what Saudi Arabia believe in. Doing it by the book. So, yeah. I think you'll have a good season. Getting out of the Champions League knockout stage will be a success. And top four, if you win a trophy, you've had a great season.
Wow.
You've had a great season. But you've got to look at stability by getting to the Champions League again, because that attracts more players, good players. So yeah, that'll be fantastic. What are you after?
For me, I would like minimum group stage.
Yeah,
Go top four at semi-final or final of domestic cup. But winning a champion, this depend on winning a trophy or title. Depend on what player we're gonna get. And I'm with you. We should break this weekly wages.
You'll break it. You will break that one, Edie. I think what you'll do is you'll hire it. You know what I mean? You'll cap it off at 200, 300,000 because that's where your elite players are at. So that's what you'll do. But you won't bring an influx of them. You know what I mean? Your Harry Kanes and all that lot. You'll bring the right balance. And that's the word, is the balance. You need to have that balance.
Yes, exactly. John, what's your message to the Newcastle Saudi fans and golf fans in Saudi as well?
Well, for the Newcastle and the Saudi fans, I wish you well for next season. I hope you climb up and you do well. I really do, because obviously I live here. For the golf, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's next, how it's going to evolve, how the partnership's going to work. See if we were right. We'll look back in a year and we'll look at this and say, was we right or was we not? That'll be nice to see. But yeah, I just wish Saudi Arabia all my best. You know, I love the place, I love the people, and I just wish that more people would visit Saudi Arabia and more Saudi Arabians will start playing golf. I know the football's coming, as we both know. You know what I mean? There'll be more Newcastle United shirts in Riyadh than anywhere else, I can assure you. More in the Newcastle, but it'd be nice to see young golfers.
The new shirt's expected tomorrow, and tomorrow is Sam Vender concert tomorrow at James Park.
Don't wind me up with that, mate. I've been trying to get tickets for Sam Fender for the last 2 weeks. I have. So that's what I've been doing when I've been talking to you, trying to get stuff. So if you're watching this, Sam Fender, I want 2 tickets for me and my wife.
I think there is one 9 and 10th.
Yeah, it's Friday night and Saturday. Yeah, we've been trying to get them for both. So if anyone out there has got any connections for Sam Fender tickets, please let Waleed know and he'll let me know, because I'm desperate.
Hopefully, we'll try. We'll try to sort that for you, John. Really, that has been lovely, John. Thank you for coming to the show. طبعا نشكر لاعب الجولف جون وود في يعني أعطانا كثير من المعلومات حول الجولف واللي صار في الفترة الأخيرة من الأحداث العالمية بخصوص الجولف. برضو تكلمنا شوي عن نيوكاسل. Really thank you John.
No, thank you Walid, and thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. نلقاكم إن شاء الله بكرة، غدا إن شاء الله، بكرة إن شاء الله صيف نيوكاسل مع نخبة من مشجعين نيوكاسل بكرة منتصف الليل. شكرا لكم للمتابعة وويكند سعيد.
I think today is it's a historical day for the PGA Tour and the game of golf, and it's a historical day for the PIF and the DP World Tour. And you're right, you know, there's been a lot of tension in our sport over the last couple of years. But what we're talking about today is coming together to unify the game of golf and to do so under one umbrella. And David, the way that we're doing that is we're creating a for-profit LLC that the PIF is going to invest in alongside the DP World Tour. And together we're going to move forward and we're going to take efforts to grow and expand this great game and to take it to new heights. And so what's happened today, and to your earlier question, is we've recognized that together we can have a far greater impact on this game than we can working apart. And I give Yasser great credit for coming to the table, coming to the discussions with an open heart and an open mind. We did the same, and the game of golf is better for what we've done here today.
Yasser, give me some sense here as to how this came about, how the first call was made, and how you were able to find common ground, again, given what had been a particularly difficult history between the PGA and LIV.
We met in London. We had a lunch, followed by the next day a round of golf, then another lunch. We had discussions. We covered everything. And one of the things that I said then, had we met 2 or 3 years ago, the impact that we will have in the game of golf will be lesser.
Why?
Because it would be something small, but the way we're doing our partnership, it's going to be really big in many senses. We will have both the LIV and the PGA Tour in addition to all of our assets, and we will be investing in the growth of the game of golf and doing many new things that I think will have a better engagement from the players, the fans, the broadcasters, the sponsors, everyone else. And hopefully to even give a better access for more and more people to the game of golf. The way we would love to make the game of golf very much accessible, just like any other sport, just like football, basketball, any other sport.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.